The sky turned red on a Tuesday. Not the soft red of sunset, but the angry red of fire and death. Ja Kim stood on the roof of Seoul National University Hospital, watching as strange ships cut through the clouds. They were smooth and black, like drops of oil against the burning sky. "What are they?" asked a nurse beside her. Jia shook her head. Her white coat flapped in the wind. "I don't know." The first blast hit downtown Seoul. A beam of light, brighter than the sun, struck the tallest building. Glass and steel melted like ice cream on a hot day. The sound came later, a boom that shook the ground under their feet. More beams followed. More buildings fell. "We need to get inside," Jia said, pulling the nurse toward the door. The hospital was chaos. Doctors ran between beds. Patients screamed. Outside, sirens wailed. Ja pushed her way to the emergency room where her father, Dr. Kim, was working. "Dad," she called. He looked up from a bleeding patient. His eyes were tired but calm. "Jia, good. I need your help." "The city is under attack," she said. "I know. And soon we'll have more wounded than we can handle." He handed her a pair of gloves. "Today, you're not a student. You're a doctor." For 6 hours, they worked side by side. Burns, broken bones, shock. The injured kept coming. Some had strange wounds, skin burned in perfect circles, as if marked by something not of this world. The power went out at midnight. Emergency lights cast everything in a sickly yellow glow. Jia's hand shook as she stitched a child's forehead. Outside, the sounds of destruction grew closer. A soldier burst through the doors. His uniform was torn and dirty. "Everyone must leave. Now. They're coming this way." "We can't move these patients," Dr. Kim argued. "Sir, you don't understand. These aren't humans. The soldier's voice broke. "They're aliens, and they're killing everyone." A new sound cut through the night, a high-pitched whine that made Jia's teeth hurt. The hospital shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Jia," her father said quietly, "take as many people as you can and go to the basement." "What about you?" "I'll stay with those who can't be moved." His eyes were steady. "Go. Now." She wanted to argue, but there was no time. Jia helped 20 patients and staff down to the basement. They huddled in the dark, listening to the strange whine grow louder. Then came the footsteps. Heavy, metallic, not human. Through a crack in the basement door, Jia saw them. Tall figures in armor that shifted colors like oil on water. Their helmets had no face, just a smooth black surface that reflected her own terrified eyes back at her. They moved through the hospital with terrible purpose. Jia put her hand over a child's mouth to silence his whimpers. The aliens didn't speak. They pointed devices at the injured, at the doctors. There was a flash of light, and people simply disappeared. When they reached her father, Dr. Kim stood tall. "These people need medical attention," he said firmly. The alien tilted its head as if confused. Then it raised its weapon. "No," Jia whispered. A flash of light. Her father was gone. The aliens left after an hour. Jia and the others stayed hidden until morning. When they finally emerged, the hospital was empty. No patients, no staff, just empty beds and medical equipment, still beeping for people who were no longer there. Outside, Seoul burned. Black ships hovered over the city like giant insects. In the distance, more beams of light cut into the earth. Jia stood in the ruins of the emergency room, her father's white coat clutched in her hands. Tears streaked the dust on her face. "I'll find you," she promised. "I don't know how, but I'll find you." Above her, the red sky watched without pity. The invasion of Earth had begun. 3 months passed. The world had changed. The aliens, who called themselves the Terek, now ruled Earth. Their black ships filled the skies of every major city. Humans who fought back died. Those who surrendered were taken to work camps. Jia lived in the ruins of Seoul National University Hospital. She slept in the basement during the day and searched for food at night. The white coat that had belonged to her father never left her side. Sometimes she talked to it, pretending he could hear her. "I'm still alive, Dad," she whispered one night. I don't know why. The hospital was mostly empty now. The Terrak had taken what they wanted and left the rest to rot. Ja had turned a small storage room into her home. She collected medical books and supplies. She studied whenever she had light. On the 92nd day after the invasion, Jia heard voices, human voices. She grabbed a scalpel and hid behind a fallen cabinet. 5 people entered the hospital lobby. They carried strange weapons, guns that looked like a mix of Earth and Terrak technology. One man, tall with a scar across his cheek, gave orders to the others. "Check for supplies. Medicine, food, anything useful. Be quick." Jia watched them split up. A woman with short hair headed toward the storage area, toward Jia's hideout. Jia made a choice. She stepped out, scalpel raised. "Stop right there," she said. The woman spun around, weapon ready. Then she blinked in surprise. "You're Korean, human." "Last time I checked," Jia said. "Who are you people?" The tall man appeared behind the woman. "Lower your weapon, son." The woman called son lowered her gun. The man studied Jia with tired eyes. "I'm Captain Hyun Park, former South Korean military. Now I lead what's left of the resistance in this area." He pointed to her scalpel. "That won't do much against the Terrak." Jia didn't lower her weapon. "It's done enough so far." "Why are you here?" "Medicine. One of our people is sick." Hyun looked around. "You live here alone?" Jia nodded slowly. "Since the invasion. A survivor," Sun said with respect. "What's your name?" "Jia Kim. I was a medical student. My father was a doctor here." Han's face softened. "Was. They took him. The first day." Jia finally lowered the scalpel. "Your sick friend. What are the symptoms?" They took her to their hideout, an old subway station 10 blocks away. 20 people lived there, sleeping on old mattresses and blankets. Some wore pieces of military uniforms. Others were in dirty civilian clothes. All had the same haunted look in their eyes. The sick person was a young man named Ha. He had a high fever and couldn't keep food down. Jia examined him with the few tools she had. "It's an infection," she said. "I need antibiotics. We've been hitting Terrak supply lines." Hyun explained as he showed Jia around the station. "Taking their weapons, learning how they work, but we need medical help." Jia saw their stolen Terrak technology, guns that fired energy instead of bullets, communication devices, even pieces of Terrak armor. "Have you studied them?" she asked. "The Terrak themselves, not just their weapons." Hyun frowned. "Why would we? All we need to know is how to kill them." Jia shook her head. "No, to beat them, we need to understand them. Their biology, their weaknesses." She touched her father's coat. "That's what my father would say." That night, the resistance group talked about their next move. Most wanted to attack a Terrak patrol. Jia listened quietly. "You should join us," Sun said to her. "We need a doctor." Jia looked at these people, tired, angry, but still fighting. She thought of her father and the empty hospital. She thought of the red sky on that first day. "I'll help you," she said finally, "but not just as a doctor. I want to study the Terrak. Every army has a weakness, even theirs." Hyun nodded slowly. "Then welcome to the resistance, Dr. Kim." For the first time in 3 months, Jia didn't feel alone. A week after joining the resistance, Jia went on her first mission. Hyun had learned about a small Terrak medical facility on the edge of the city. They needed supplies, but Jia wanted something more. Information. "Remember the plan," Hyun told the team as they hid behind a broken wall across from the facility. "Sun and Min will create a distraction. Jia, you and I will slip inside and take what we need." Jia nodded, her heart pounding. She wore her father's white coat, with extra pockets sewn inside for carrying medicine. Sun and Min ran to the east side of the building and set off small explosions made from stolen Tarak technology. As alarm sounds filled the air, Hyun and Jia ran to the back entrance. The door was locked. Hyun pulled out a device that looked like a pen with a light on the end. Tarak key, he explained, works on all their doors. Inside, the medical facility was clean and bright, so different from the ruined world outside. The walls were smooth white metal. Strange machines hummed softly. "Grab the supplies," Hyun said, pointing to shelves of containers. "I'll keep watch." Jia filled her pockets with medicine. Then she noticed something strange, a separate room where several Tarak were lying on beds. They weren't moving. "Hyun," she whispered, "look." Through the clear wall, they could see 5 Tarak without their armor. Their skin was pale blue with patches of dark purple. Their faces had no noses, just breathing slits. Their eyes were large and completely black. "They're sick," Jia realized. "Good," Hyun said. "Easier to kill." Jia shook her head. "No, don't you see? This is important. The invaders are getting sick on our planet." A computer screen near the door showed strange symbols. Jia pressed a button, and the screen changed to show body scans of the sick Tarak. "I need this information," she said, looking for a way to copy it. Hyun pointed to a small square device next to the screen. "Data storage, like our USB drives." Jia took it and pressed it against the screen. Lights flashed, and the device hummed. Suddenly, an alarm blared, different from the distraction Sun had created. "We've been detected," Hyun said, grabbing Jia's arm. "We need to go. Now." Jia shoved the data device into her pocket. As they turned to run, a door opened and a Tarak in full armor appeared. It raised its weapon. Hyun fired first. His stolen Tarak gun hit the alien in the chest. The Tarak fell backward but wasn't dead. Hyun fired again, and the alien stopped moving. "Run," he shouted. They raced through the facility, alarms screaming around them. 2 more Tarak appeared ahead. Sun and Min came from the side, firing their weapons. "This way," Sun called. Outside, they ran through broken streets. Behind them, Tarak soldiers followed. Energy beams hit buildings around them, sending chunks of concrete flying. They reached an old department store and ran inside. The Tarak stopped following after a few minutes. "Did everyone make it?" Hyun asked, counting heads. All 4 humans were there, breathing hard but alive. Back at the subway station, Jia studied the stolen data. She found an old laptop that the Resistance had repaired and connected the Tarak device to it. "Can you read it?" Sun asked, watching over her shoulder. "Some of it," Jia said. "Look at these body scans." The images showed the Tarak's internal organs. Strange dark spots covered their breathing systems. "They're sick," Jia explained. "Their bodies are reacting to something on Earth, maybe bacteria or viruses." "So," Min asked, "why does that matter?" Jia looked up, her eyes bright with hope for the first time since the invasion. "Because it means they have a weakness," she said. "They have all the weapons, all the technology, but their bodies aren't adapted to Earth. Our planet is fighting back." Hyun leaned closer to the screen. "Can we use this?" Jia nodded slowly. "I think so. But I need to understand more about their biology first." For the first time since the red sky came, Jia felt something she had almost forgotten: purpose, and with it came a dangerous feeling called hope. For 2 weeks, Jia barely slept. She studied the stolen Tarak medical data and read every biology book she could find in the ruins of nearby buildings. The Resistance members watched her with growing curiosity. "Have you found anything useful?" Hyun asked one evening as she sat surrounded by books and papers. Jia looked up, her eyes red from lack of sleep. "Yes, the Tarak are not like us. They evolved on a world with very few diseases." "What does that mean?" Sun asked, sitting down beside them. Jia picked up a drawing she had made of Terrak lungs. Their immune systems are simple. They've never needed to fight off many germs. But Earth has millions of bacteria and viruses, things we've lived with for thousands of years that don't hurt us anymore. So they're getting sick from just being here. Min asked. Exactly, Jia said. And it's getting worse for them. That's why they built that medical facility. They're trying to understand why their soldiers are falling ill. Hyun frowned. That's interesting, but how does it help us fight them? We still can't match their weapons. Jia took a deep breath. I have a plan, but it's risky, and not everyone will like it. She explained her idea to the group that night. The subway station fell silent as she spoke. Some faces showed hope. Others showed doubt. A few showed anger. You want to make a disease to kill them? An older man named Gil asked. Like a biological weapon? Not exactly, Jia said. I want to take something that's already making them sick and make it stronger. Something that will only affect Terrak, not humans. Can you do that? Sun asked. You were only a student. Jia touched her father's coat. My father was an expert in infectious diseases. I learned from him. And I have their medical data. We need weapons, not germs, Min argued. We should focus on stealing more of their guns. Hyun stood up. Why not both? Ja works on her plan. The rest of us continue hitting their patrols and taking their weapons. The group argued late into the night. In the end, they split into two groups. Hyun, Sun, and half the resistance would continue fighting with weapons. Jia and the others would try her plan. The next day, Jia led a small team to the university's science building. Most of it was destroyed, but the basement labs were still intact. What are we looking for? Gil asked as they moved through dark hallways. Equipment. Microscopes. Test tubes. Anything we can use to grow bacteria, Jia explained. They found enough to set up a small lab back at the subway station. Jia worked day and night, growing cultures from samples she took from the sick Terrak's data. She mixed them with Earth bacteria, watching how they reacted. One night, Hyun returned from a mission with burns on his arm. His team had attacked a Terrak patrol but barely escaped. We lost 2 people, he said as Jia bandaged his wounds. Their weapons are getting stronger. I'm close to something, Jia promised. Give me a little more time. We don't have time, Hyun said, his voice hard. Look. He showed her a message they had decoded from Terrak communications. The aliens were planning to clean large areas of Earth's surface using powerful weapons that would destroy all life. They're going to burn everything, Hyun said. Plants, animals, people, then rebuild it for themselves. Jia felt cold fear in her stomach. When? 2 weeks. Maybe less. That night, as others slept, Jia stared at her samples. One test tube held a cloudy liquid that had shown promise. It contained a mix of Earth bacteria that had made the Terrak samples break down quickly. This could work, she whispered to herself. But how do we use it against them? She looked at her father's coat hanging nearby. What would you do, Dad? The answer came to her just before dawn. She woke Hyun with excitement in her eyes. I know how to stop them, she said, but we'll need to get into their main ship. It's too dangerous, Hyun said the next morning. No one has ever gotten close to their main ship. Jia held up the test tube with the cloudy liquid. This could save Earth. We have to try. The resistance gathered to hear Jo's plan. She wanted to get her bacteria mixture into the Terrak ship's air system. Once there, it would spread to all the aliens. How do we even get to their ship? Sun asked. It's in orbit. They come down to the surface every 3 days, Jill said. Big transport ships land in the center of the city. They bring supplies and take humans to work camps. Jia nodded. We get on one of those transport ships. That's suicide, Min argued. Not if we let ourselves be captured, Jia said quietly. The room fell silent. You want us to surrender? Hyun asked. his voice tight with anger. "Not all of us. Just me," Jia said. "I'll hide the bacteria in my father's coat. Once I'm on their ship, I'll find a way to release it." "No," Hyun shook his head. "I won't let you go alone." "This isn't your choice," Jia said. "It's mine." They argued for hours. In the end, they'd made a compromise. Jia and Hyun would allow themselves to be captured. The others would create a distraction to draw away most of the Terek guards first. Jia carefully hid small vials of the bacteria mixture inside the lining of her father's coat. She also kept notes about the Terek biology sewn into the hem. "Be careful with this," she told Hyun as they prepared the next day. "It won't hurt humans, but it spreads easily." Hyun checked his hidden knife, the only weapon they could risk taking. "Are you sure about this?" Jia wasn't sure at all, but she nodded anyway. The plan began at dawn. Sun led half the resistance fighters in an attack on a Terek patrol near the edge of the city. The aliens sent reinforcements, leaving fewer guards at the transport landing site. Jia and Hyun approached the open area where the transport ship had landed. It was huge and black, like a giant beetle with smooth sides. Terek soldiers stood guard around it. "Ready?" Hyun whispered. Jia gripped her father's coat tightly. "Ready." They walked out into the open with their hands up. "We surrender," Hyun called out. The Terek turned their weapons on them immediately. 3 aliens approached cautiously. They spoke in strange clicking sounds to each other. Then one pointed a scanner at Jia and Hyun. The scanner beeped, and the alien made a surprised sound. It pointed at Jia and spoke to the others. "What's happening?" Hyun whispered. Before Jia could answer, they were separated. 4 Terek surrounded Hyun, pushing him toward the ship. 2 others took Jia in a different direction. "Hyun," she called out. "Jia, remember the plan." He shouted back before the Terek forced him up the ramp into the ship. Instead of following Hyun, Jia was taken to a smaller vehicle. The Terek pushed her inside and sealed the door. Through a small window, she watched the ground fall away as they took off. They flew higher than she expected, past clouds and into the darkness of space. A massive ship came into view, much larger than the transport ships. It was the size of a small city, black and sleek against the stars. The Terek command ship. Inside, Jia was led through long corridors. Everything was clean and cold. The Terek guards kept their weapons pointed at her back. They stopped at a large door. It slid open to reveal a room with strange equipment and screens showing Earth from space. A tall Terek stood with its back to her. Unlike the others, this one wore no helmet, revealing its blue skin and large black eyes. It turned slowly to face her. "Human doctor," it said in perfect Korean. "I am Commander Goros, and you have something I want." Jia tried to hide her fear as Commander Goros stepped closer. His blue skin had a pattern of darker blue lines. His black eyes seemed to look through her. "How do you know Korean?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "We learn quickly," Goros said. "Your language is simple." He pointed to her father's white coat. "You worked in medicine." It wasn't a question, but Jia nodded anyway. "Good. My soldiers are sick. You will help them," Goros ordered. 2 guards took Jia to another part of the ship. They entered a large room full of medical equipment. Some looked familiar. Others were strange and alien. Terek lay on beds, their blue skin now patchy with purple spots. Some struggled to breathe. A Terek in a different colored armor approached. "This is the human doctor," it asked in broken Korean. "I'm a medical student," Jia corrected. "I am Chief Medical Officer Vek," the Terek said. "You will work here, help cure our soldiers." Jia saw her chance. "I'll need to examine them. And I need samples to study." Vek nodded. "Yes, work fast. Many die each day." For the next 2 days, Jia worked in the Terek medical bay. She examined the sick aliens while carefully hiding her knowledge of their weakness. At night, she was locked in a small room with a bed and nothing else. On the 3rd day, She was allowed to use the Terek laboratory. Their equipment was advanced, but Jia could understand enough to use it. She studied blood samples from the sick Terek. The infection spreads quickly through your people, she told Vec. Your immune systems are not prepared for Earth's bacteria. Can you fix? Vec asked. Perhaps, Jia lied. But I need to understand more about your species. Vec showed her the Terek medical database. Jia learned that the Terek had evolved on a planet with very few diseases. Their immune systems were simple because they never needed complex ones. Your planet had no seasons, Jia realized as she read. No changing weather. Correct, Vec said. Always warm, always calm. Perfect. And now you want to make Earth like your home, Jia said. Vec's black eyes blinked slowly. Yes, the cleaning will remove Earth's problems. Then we bring our plants, our animals. The cleaning? You mean killing everything. Not killing, replacing, with better things. That night in her room, Jia couldn't sleep. The Terek planned to destroy all life on Earth and replace it with their own. She had to stop them. She carefully took one of the vials from her father's coat. The bacteria inside had grown stronger in the warm ship air. It wouldn't kill the Terek immediately, but it would make them very sick. Too sick to complete their cleaning plan. On the fourth day, Jia was working alone in the lab when the door opened. It was not Vec or the guards. It was Hyun. His face was bruised, and he looked thinner, but he was alive. Hyun, she whispered, how did you escape? Stole a key card from a guard, he said quickly. We don't have much time. Did you bring the bacteria? Jia nodded and showed him the vials hidden in her coat, but I don't know how to get it into their air system. I found their air control room, Hyun said. 2 guards. We can take them by surprise. Wait, Jia said. I've learned more about the Terek. They're going to destroy all life on Earth in 3 days. They call it the cleaning. Hyun's face hardened. Then we need to move now. There's something else, Jia said. I've seen their medical data. If we release this bacteria, it will spread to all Terek in the ship. Maybe all Terek on Earth. It could kill thousands of them. That's the plan, isn't it? Hyun asked, confused. Jia looked down at the vials. I took an oath as a doctor to do no harm, even to enemies. They're about to destroy our world, Hyun said. We don't have a choice. Before Jia could answer, alarms started blaring. A voice spoke in the Terek language over speakers. They know I've escaped, Hyun said. We need to go. Now, Hyun grabbed Jia's arm. We need to move. They ran through the corridors of the Terek ship. Alarms screamed overhead. Red lights flashed on the walls. Hyun led the way, ducking into side passages whenever they heard Terek soldiers coming. How do you know your way around? Jia asked as they hid in a small storage room. I've been watching, learning, Hyun said. They put me with other humans to work in the ship. I made a map in my head. When the sounds of running feet passed, they slipped out again. Hyun pointed down a long hallway. The air control room is that way. 4 levels up. They found a service ladder and climbed. Jia's arms ached, but she kept going. Her father's coat felt heavy with the vials of bacteria hidden inside. On the 4th level, they crept toward a door marked with strange Terek symbols. Through a small window, Jia could see 2 Terek working at control panels. What's the plan? She whispered. Hyun pulled out his hidden knife. I take them by surprise. You find the air intake system. Jia touched his arm. Wait, we need to talk about this. There's no time. I made this bacteria to stop them, yes, but I don't want to kill them all. There must be another way. Hyun's face hardened. They're going to destroy our world in 3 days. They took your father. They've killed millions of people. And does that make it right for us to kill millions of them? Jia asked. This is war, Hyun said. In war, you do what you must to win. Jia pulled out one of the vials. I can modify this. Make it weaker. It would make them sick, but not kill them. Sick enough to stop the cleaning plan. And then what? They recover and try again. Hyun shook his head. We have one chance, Jia. One chance to save Earth. Before she could answer, the door to the air control room opened. A Terek stepped out, saw them, and reached for its weapon. Hyun moved fast. He tackled the alien, driving his knife into its chest. Blue blood sprayed the wall. The second Terek inside the room fired its weapon. A beam of energy hit the wall near Jia's head. Hyun pushed Jia down and rolled through the doorway. There was a struggle, then silence. Hyun appeared in the doorway, blue blood on his hands. It's clear. Hurry. Inside the control room, Jia looked at the panels. Strange symbols covered the screens, but she recognized patterns similar to Earth computers. She found what looked like a ventilation system map. Here, she said, this must be the air intake. Hyun pointed to a large tube behind a panel. Open it. Jia hesitated, the vial in her hand. Hyun, I'm not sure. The door burst open. 3 Terek soldiers entered, weapons raised. Energy beams filled the room. One hit Hyun in the chest. He fell back against the wall, a smoking hole in his body. Hyun, Jia screamed. She dropped to her knees beside him. His eyes were open, but pain filled them. Blood soaked his shirt. Do it, he whispered. Save Earth. I can't kill them all. It's not right, she said, tears in her eyes. Hyun's hand found hers, squeezing the vial. Sometimes, healing means removing the infection. His voice grew weaker. Save our people. His hand fell away. His eyes stared at nothing. More Terek entered the room. They surrounded Jia. Weapons pointed at her. Behind them came a familiar figure, Commander Goros. A poor choice of action, human doctor, he said. Jia stood slowly, the vial hidden in her palm. Hyun's body lay at her feet. In her pocket was the modified bacteria she had been working on, the version that would sicken but not kill. 2 choices, 1 decision. Goros stepped closer. Your friend is dead. Your plan has failed. What will you do now? Jia looked at Hyun's body, then at the Terek soldiers surrounding her. The deadly bacteria vial was warm in her hand. One quick move, and she could release it into the air system. It would spread through the ship, killing thousands of Terek. But something held her back. Take her to my command room, Goros ordered, and bring the body too. Terek soldiers grabbed Jia's arms. She kept her hand closed tight around the vial. They dragged Hyun's body behind them. The command room was large, with windows that showed Earth below them. It looked small and blue from space, like a marble Jia had played with as a child. Why did you come to my ship? Goros asked when they were alone except for 2 guards. To steal information. To sabotage. Jia looked at Hyun's body, which the Terek had placed on the floor. To stop you from destroying Earth. Goros tilted his head. The cleaning is not destruction. It is improvement. It's murder, Jia said. You'll kill every living thing. To make room for better living things, Goros said. Our plants, our animals, our people. It is what we always do with new worlds. And the humans. Some will serve us. Most will not be needed. Jia felt cold anger rise in her chest. Her fingers tightened around the vial. One quick move. That's all it would take. I know you are hiding something, human doctor, Goros said. He pointed to her closed hand. Show me. Slowly, Jia opened her hand. The vial sat in her palm, the liquid inside cloudy and dark. What is this? Goros asked. A cure, Jia said quietly. For your sick soldiers. Goros took the vial and studied it. You created this. How? I studied your medical data. Your soldiers are sick because your bodies can't fight Earth's bacteria. You never needed to develop strong immune systems on your world. And this will help. Goros sounded doubtful. Jia nodded. It's a modified version of Earth bacteria. It will teach your bodies how to fight infection without killing you. This was only half true. The vial in Goros' hand was the deadly version. The modified, safer version was still in her pocket. Goros placed the vial on a table. "Why would you help us? We are your enemy." "Because I'm a doctor," Gia said. "I took an oath to heal, not harm. Even those who would destroy your world." Goros asked. "Yes, even them." Gia took a deep breath. "Your people are not evil, Commander. You're just doing what you've always done. But there's another way." Goros laughed. It was a strange sound, like metal scraping on stone. "What other way? We need this planet." "Share it," Gia said. "Earth is big enough for both our species. You can live here without destroying everything." "Impossible. Your bacteria would kill us." "Not if I help you adapt. Not if I teach your people how to strengthen their immune systems." Gia reached into her pocket and pulled out the second vial. "This is a safer version. It won't kill your people. It will just make them stronger." Goros looked at the two vials. "You had the power to kill us all along." Gia nodded. "Yes." "Then why didn't you use it?" "Because that's not who I am," Gia said. She looked at Hyun's body. "And it's not what humanity stands for. We adapt. We learn. We find better ways." Goros was silent for a long time. His black eyes studied Jia's face. "Your species lacks our firepower, our technology, our evolutionary perfection," he said finally. "Why resist the inevitable?" "Because we have something stronger than weapons," Jia said, placing her hand over her heart. "We have this. The ability to see an enemy as someone worth saving. The strength to choose mercy over revenge. That's humanity's real power." Goros stared at Jia for a long time. His black eyes gave away no emotion, but his blue skin seemed to change shades slightly. "An interesting theory," he said finally. "But words will not save your world." A Terek officer burst into the room. It spoke quickly in the Terek language, its voice urgent. Goros replied sharply, then turned to Jia. "It seems your theory will be tested sooner than expected," he said. "Many of our soldiers on Earth's surface have fallen ill. The sickness spreads faster than we can contain it." Jia wasn't surprised. Earth's bacteria were doing naturally what she had planned to do artificially. "Let me help," she said, "before more of your people die." "Why?" Goros demanded. "Why help those who came to conquer you?" "Because that's what makes us human," Jia said. "We can hate our enemies, or we can try to understand them." For 3 days, Jia worked in the Terek Medical Bay. She taught their doctors how to use her modified bacteria to help their soldiers build immunity. Some Terek died, but many began to recover. On the 4th day, Goros called her to the command room again. "The cleaning has been delayed," he said. His voice sounded different, less certain. "Cancelled," Jia corrected. "It should be cancelled. My leaders would not agree." "Then convince them," Jia said. "Your people can live on Earth without destroying what's already here, but you'll need our help to adapt." Goros walked to the window, looking down at Earth. "In all our conquests, we have never shared a world." "Try something new," Jia suggested. "Evolution is about adaptation, not just conquest." A week later, Jia returned to Earth on a Terek transport. She carried Hyun's body, wrapped in her father's white coat. Commander Goros came with her, along with several Terek scientists. They landed near the Resistance hideout. Sun and the others aimed their weapons at the Terek as they stepped off the ship. "Don't shoot," Jia called out. "They're here to talk, not fight." It took hours to explain what had happened. Many of the Resistance fighters wanted revenge for Hyun and all the others who had died. But slowly, Jia helped them understand. "They have all the firepower," she told the angry crowd. "We have the heart, which is stronger in the long run." 6 months passed. The world changed again, but differently this time. The Terek established bases on Earth, but as visitors, not conquerors. They shared their technology in exchange for help adapting to Earth's environment. Jia led a new international team of scientists working on medical solutions for both species. Not all humans welcomed the Tarak. Not all Tarak wanted peace. There were attacks, protests, and hard days. But the cleaning never happened. 1 year after the invasion, Jia stood in a new building built where Seoul National University Hospital had once stood. It was now the Earth Tarak Medical Research Center. She wore a new white coat with her name on it. Dr. Jia Kim. Commander Goros, now the Tarak ambassador to Earth, joined her on the roof. Together they looked out at the city, which was slowly being rebuilt. "Your father would be proud," Goros said. The Tarak had learned about human emotions and tried to express them now. "I hope so," Jia said, thinking of her father and Hyun. "So many have been lost. My leaders still question my decision," Goros admitted. "They say I was weak to not take this world by force." "What do you tell them?" Jia asked. Goros looked at the recovering city, where humans and Tarak now work together. "I tell them what I learned from you," he said. "That we had all the firepower in the galaxy, but we never understood the power of a heart that refuses to hate, even in the face of destruction. Perhaps that is why your species will survive long after others have fallen." Jia smiled and touched the name on her new coat. Sometimes healing meant fighting. Sometimes it meant forgiveness. And sometimes it meant finding a third path where everyone could live. The end.